Now, as I said at the top of the show, President Zelensky begging Germany for more help. Today, he tried shaming the Germans into helping more, saying their post-Holocaust promise of never again was, quote, worthless if they do not, in fact, act. He also invoked Ronald Reagan to help get his point across.
Ronald Reagan once said in Berlin, "Tear down this wall." I want to tell you now, Chancellor Scholz, tear down this wall.
Oh, Reagan. I mean, you had me at Reagan. Germany is way more invested in the outcome of this, obviously, than we are. They are addicted to Russian natural gas to power their industries, heat their homes, and keep the lights on. So why aren't they stepping up more? This is in their backyard. Do they expect the U.S. to just pay for everything and provide everything and then cushion the blow when we're in a massive global war? Let's meet tonight's man panel. We've got former Trump Advisory Board member Jason Meister is here, along with Democrat strategist, former Biden campaign surrogate, and my personal shamrock. It is Kevin Walling. He's always good luck. And Foundation for Economic Education. He's a correspondent, also co-founder of Based Politics. Brad Polumbo is back. That wink is for Reggie. I just know it. All right, party people. So let's talk about this a little bit. So, Jason, there has been a pattern that has emerged with President Zelensky. He goes to, the legislative heartbeat of whatever country he's talking to, whether it's Parliament in UK or Canada, the U.S. Congress, and now he has gone to the Bundestag in Germany. And he invokes great leaders in order to exhort these countries to help him. Is it working or is it too much?
I think he is being very effective, and he knows which points to pressure and which cases to make to each country. Not only did he invoke the World War II slogan when he was addressing Germany, but he also invoked 9/11. He invoked Pearl Harbor. He invoked Martin Luther King's speech as well when he addressed the U.S. Congress. So he's very effective in that regard. But the truth of the matter is, Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin are not in this conflict. This is an entirely different moment in time. And Putin and Zelensky do not fit into the World War II model. And I can see what President Zelensky is doing, and I respect him and appreciate what he's doing. He's protecting his country and his people. But the truth of the matter is, if the U.S. is going to use military solutions to address humanitarian problems, I think it will only evaporate. It will only make it worse. It will only inflame the humanitarian problem. That's why I think we need to replace the bomb sellers with diplomats and make a peace deal.
Interesting. I mean, I do agree with you that if the United States is going to send money, take the bottom lines and flip them. We need to be sending more in humanitarian aid and less in weapons. Right. You know, call me crazy, but also I've been looking at this, and Kevin, the Germans are still very much accepting Russian energy. Yes, they canceled the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, but they are still taking in Russian oil and gas. So they have a much greater responsibility here. Why is everyone leaning on the U.S.?
Yeah, Kenny, you're absolutely right. And of course, Russia's right in Germany's backyard. And I think one of the important things to come out of this Putin's invasion of Ukraine, is the fact that I think Germany is actually starting to get its act together when it comes to its own defense. Not only is it increasing the percentage of money spent on defense of their GDP, but they're buying new warships, they're buying new military provisions, and hopefully they're going to step up their support following this speech to the Bundestag that you played from President Zelensky to Chancellor Scholz and his elected leaders. So I think that's actually one good thing. And I've been saying for a long time that Europe has been very dependent, and this is something that unites Democrats and Republicans. This is something that Donald Trump talked about in terms of Europe being so dependent on America for its own security. I think we're seeing right now in real time how important it is for Europe to also be a steady hand and to step up their own game with regards to this crisis.
And buy liquefied natural gas from someone you can trust. Someone with four eyes who speaks French and has two thumbs. Moi. All right, so Brad Polumbo, what do you see here in terms of President Zelensky's outreach? Has it been appropriate, and do you think he did enough today to move Germany and to increase what they're offering and what they can do to bring peace?
Yeah, look, I completely understand where he's coming from. He's trying to pull out all the stops, make all the appeals to advocate for his people and his country. But what we've got to understand is that America's responsibility is to America first, and Germany's responsibility is to the German people. So when Zelensky starts asking for things that are fundamentally unreasonable or endanger us, like a no-fly zone in Ukraine, which would literally require us to shoot down Russian planes and potentially enter a hot war with a nuclear power,
yes,
then he can appeal all he wants, but he needs to get a hard no in response. And I mean, he said that income is not as important as peace. And it's easy to say these kinds of things in the abstract, but a lot of this is more interlinked. And he is already at war with Russia, but we don't want to be and can't be. So while I have every sympathy in the world for him, we can't grant all of these requests he's making.
No, because it could make us and the world much less safe. Believe it or not, it feels like when you are under siege, when you are in the middle of an onslaught and innocent people are being targeted, that it can't get worse. Believe me, it can get much worse. And that's why there have to be adults in the room who say, no, we do have to put our needs first. Because when we haven't, we've gotten into protracted wars that have gotten millions of people killed, and we're not going to do that right now, or hopefully ever again. Now, meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin going full Colonel Kurtz in his latest rant to the Russian people. He's now vowing to purge his country of, quote, scum and traitors. Listen to this ominous warning he gave to the Russian people in an address from the Kremlin.
But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will always be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors and simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Spit them out. I am convinced that such a natural and necessary cleansing of society will only strengthen our country.
Jesus Christmas. Stalin-esque enough for you? So who are these so-called traitors? Ordinary Russians speaking out against the war. 15,000 of them have been imprisoned so far. Is it his oligarch buddies? And how far will he go to purge them and their great yachts? What do you see here, Jason?
Yeah, look, Kennedy, these remarks by Putin show us how seriously dangerous this conflict is becoming. Putin clearly underestimated Russia's military capability.
I think he overestimated
the Ukrainians' effectiveness in. He overestimated. I'm sorry. He overestimated it. Right. He also underestimated the Ukrainians' ability and effectiveness in resisting, and I think he also misunderstood how fast the scope of the response from the Western world would be, and how powerful it would be. But we as Americans can't underestimate the fact that a ruthless nuclear power that thinks they're in dire straits, what could they possibly do to this world? This could quickly escalate to a nuclear war between Russia on the one side and NATO on the other, and no one wants that to happen.
No one wants that. No one in NATO wants that. No one in the free world wants that. No one who lives in a country that has nuclear armament, no one wants that. But it doesn't seem like Vladimir Putin doesn't want it not enough. There are too many negatives there, Kevin, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, Ken, I mean, this is the nightmare scenario, any kind of hot war between two or multiple nuclear powers. But again, to your point, 15,000, and that's just what we can report from the West in terms of internal arrests throughout Russia. The courageous woman that came before the live TV coverage to protest that war, who was shortly arrested. We have the WNBA star that's still in prison on fake charges right now. So again, we can only surmise so much from not being on the ground and what they're reporting, but certainly he believes that he can jail his way out of this conflict, and I don't think that's going to be a winning solution in the end run for a guy like Vladimir Putin.
So does it look like he's losing, Brad? Is that what you take? What do you read from this when you hear that speech and you hear how he's characterizing his own countrymen? You know, it's like he supposedly wants to go into Ukraine to unite them with Mother Russia, and he's killing them, and now he's talking about killing scum and traitors in his own country.
Yeah, look, these are the death rattles of an authoritarian thug who he's really flailing here. He knows things are not going well. This invasion is not going to plan. And I actually don't think that the Russian people, I mean, lots of them only have access to official state propaganda, but a lot of them who do get through that information wall, they don't support this. They have a shared culture. They have family in Ukraine. I mean, a lot of these people don't want this. So we have to make a clear distinction between Putin and the people. And that's why he's doing this kind of authoritarian crackdown, because people don't want war. Only dictators do.
Absolutely. And, you know, the military industrial complex in this country, because they want to turn up the war machine. And, you know, war footing, as Jennifer Granholm said, that's terrifying. But I think you're absolutely right. And I think death rattle is a good and dangerous description. Man Panel sticking around because it is game night. We got a new game. Tell you about that in a little bit. And coming up, I'm going to be talking to boxing legend Mike Tyson about this whole situation and his edible ears. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. Plus, coming up next, the CDC and TSA keep extending the federal mask mandate for air travel. Planes are safe and clean, and is it even legal? A group of lawmakers says no. Take off the mask. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey joins me to discuss next.